exciting partnership announcement between LangOptima and Insta, between us here, the two founders, and we are excited to share what started actually with a very nice conversation between Jan and I at South by Southwest in London. But we'll do some brief introductions, and then we'll also explain the partnership between LangOptima and Insta, and we will talk about the value that we are hopefully already both adding, and then together we'll add also even more so, specifically also for the language industry. But then we'll also be happy to answer any questions and comments. There is a Slido available also that I'll show you the QR code in a second here as well. And we are supported by Gabriella as well in the background from Insta's side. So so we can start with a few introductions. Maybe Jan, would you like to introduce yourself with this? I'll pull up the slide for you. Go ahead.
Thank you, Edwin. So, hello, everybody. So happy to be here. So, my name is Švantner. I'm in the IT and AI field already more than 17 years, and 12 of them I have spent in Insta, which I founded, and before that, I was on my PhD studies. I had multiple publications, and over time also like talks on conferences for the software development and AI development. To the certifications, I am quite skilled in the product management, of course, development. So I'm certified Agile Scrum Master and Product Owner. And with Insta, we help to drive the communities, mostly in Central Europe. Few of them to mention is dev circles, so which are like discussion sessions for the developers, then product tank, and from the product management, and a lot of open source projects.
Excellent. Yeah, very capable. I'm mainly from the localization industry, and we talked about that a lot, and marketing also. I am the founder of LangOptima. I'm also the advisory board chair at the LangOps Institute, and recognize the LangOps pioneer. Thank you to langops.org. But also, actually, I've spoken. I realized this year that I spoke at the United Nations this year at the Google European headquarters in Dublin and the Austrian Parliament. So that was exciting, quite an exciting year, talking about machine translation and its limitations and also opportunities. We'll talk about that a lot more later on. If you have any questions, feel free to scan this Slido or use the number 1312294, which you can also see in the comments that Gabriella dropped the link there for you. So yeah, maybe we can, before we get a little bit deeper in the companies, we can just mention how we met at South by Southwest. I can explain my side of the story, and Jan can maybe fill in after that, because I was there with a booth with one of my clients, and we were standing there all day long, and it was the end of a long day, and there was one more networking event late in the evening, and it was gonna be it was kind of hot that day, and I had been standing all day, and and it was a 20-minute walk, and I was like, well, I'll just do it. Because why not? Like, it's got to be worth it, right? So I sat down at a random table, and I said, well, can I just join your table? That would be really nice. And then I was welcomed, and then I ended up sitting right next to Jan in the middle of London, like a needle in the haystack. And it was really nice because we hit it off right away, and ended up talking for quite a long time. And now here we are after this past summer.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. It was a blast, and I'm happy to work on this relationship further. So yeah, it was nice finish to the already long day also for me. And in South by Southwest, it is lot of walking around central London because it's on multiple locations. So, and it was nice to meet you there, Edwin.
Yeah, fantastic. So, yeah, what's always also interesting, of course, is that we are coming at a similar tooling, but different from different angles, in the sense that everybody's talking about AI, everybody's talking about all kinds of, what can you do with it, what can't you do with it, and of course, I'm coming at it from the language industry side, but Jan is coming at it also from the coding side, so we can talk about that a little bit more. But before we do that, maybe we can get into the companies a little bit more, especially Insta, because I think most of the audience will know about LangOptima to a certain extent, as far as what we are doing in the language industry, though we'll touch on it. But let's introduce Insta, Jan. What's Insta all about?
Yes. So, as I slightly mentioned before, Insta exists for more than 12 years now. Over time, we have grown the team to more than 40 team members. And at the beginning, we were started basically as a software development company to help at first startups, then also SMEs and enterprise companies with their software development. Of course, over time, we have found out that many times our customers needed help also in product management. So we focused on that as well. And since the very motivation and our mission for founding the company was to help people to work less with the computers, so their work will be automated. Actually, when AI was in the state that it could help even more as standard applications, we of course adopted AI tooling and AI implementation models as well. So over time, we have worked on many projects, more than 80 of them from different parts of the world, including US, Canada, Western Europe, Central Europe, even, that pretty much covers it. And we are trying to work and bring back also to the community. So we have attended several competitions. One of them in Kaggle AI, our colleague has even won the prize from Google, and we are trying to bring back through open source and conference talks and like products which help the society.
Yeah. Well, that's really good. A very experienced, obviously. Do you want to maybe get into some of the use cases or the projects that you've worked on? Because I do have some slides here prepared for,
yes.
Also by
okay,
Gabriela.
so I'll explain a few of these projects. So we have picked 4 of them. The first one is for the quick company, a logistic company from the United States, which basically does last mile delivery for the medical supplies and aerospace supplies. So it's kind of niche part of the logistic industry. And what was quite nice about it, and what I value on this cooperation, is that we have together as a team helped the customer to basically upgrade their internal software development team, also from technical, but also project-wise, product management-wise. So for several years, our team members have been part of the bigger group, and we help to start with the Scrum processes, etc., etc. And this particular project was at that time on 3 different continents, 5 different nations were working there in like 4 different time zones. So it was quite quite a hurdle how to make it. And when it comes to results, I believe we have succeeded in the way that we have brought new products which are much more performant and helps the people to or the end users for the customer to really be more efficient in their way. So, for example, we have been visiting them in Chicago on the dispatch station, and we have seen that what was previously done on paper is now done through our system. And actually, since it is about the medical supplies and last minute delivery, it's the criticality of these deliveries is very high. So therefore, we were quite proud that we helped the customers to bring correct items to the correct customers. When we switch to the next one, you can go to the even a later slide. The Insta works many times with startups because we like the enthusiasm of the founders and we like these new unique ideas. And one of them is Firefish, which basically does the peer-to-peer platform to lend the money and with the collateral in as a Bitcoin. So this was quite new actually approach in whole crypto world, because beforehand this wasn't possible to do with Bitcoin. As soon as the technology has allowed it, together with the client, we have found out how to make it process-wise and enabled actually this type of business, and it was huge success. So after 3 months, we had first prototypes. After 3 years, the platform has attained seed rounding of 2 millions with valuation of more than 50 millions. So, and it is hugely contributed within a whole global crypto community, which is actually one of the interesting topics for localization as well, because over our experience, we have seen that as soon as software as a service platforms grow over their standard market, they need to be localized and localized correctly. So I believe this is one of the potential customers for such localization, since Firefish has already outgrown the original market and will need to go global and public and new type of customers, etc. And what I especially like about Firefish is that we at Insta value the close cooperation with our customers, and this was like prototype of it, how to do it. So at first they had not technical expertise, so we supported them with the technical expertise and also process-wise. And over time, Firefish was able to attract some developers themselves, so they grown with us. When there was not like first prototypes, first MVPs was ready, and Firefish team needed to focus more on business, we scaled back. And after they attracted more and more customers and needed more and more features, we scaled back again. So it was very dynamical cooperation, but the foundations were there from the first time. So for fairly, I would say, pragmatic point of view, we have been able to support them throughout their life from the basically idea to getting bigger and starting to be scale up.
Yeah, it's like a team extension in many ways, where it's a
Exactly.
dynamic team extension.
Exactly. And we were with them throughout the most crucial points of their existence. So quite happy about this cooperation. For the next one, we have selected the like medium enterprise from Austria called Voxtronic. And what Voxtronic does is they process lot of audio data, for example, for the emergency services, policemen, firefighters during the actions. And why I have selected it is that, again, we have supported them with many decisions over like 8 years of our cooperation. But what I want to point out is that as one of the first tasks, we have created this Vox player, which was already replacing their older implementation, and it allowed us to basically process more data in real time, audio. We have added video, and therefore the dispatchers for these emergency actions could more easily orchestrate the emergency services. And in last year, we have even added the automatic transcriptions in multiple languages. And one of the new features in the field will be that also the video will be post-processed after the action. So, for example, for privacy reasons, etc., etc. So we were able to very nicely combine this audio data with the AI, with basically localization as well. So I believe it could be quite appealing.
Yeah, this is a very interesting use case because it has to do with communication, and multilingual communication, of course, is just an extension of that. So it's really great that you have that experience. Should I go to the next slide?
Please do. And this is the last one. I don't want to bore you too much. So the last one is our internal project. So far, it hasn't hit the market so far. So we have seen that a lot of times people are stuck on the during their work with the let's say reasons that could be quite easily overcame, and they just need somebody to talk to. And many times it's the product manager, many times it's their colleague, but sometimes it helps to do it, or it helps to do this regularly and as soon as possible. So therefore, we are implementing Nudge AI, basically Copilot for your work. The idea is very easy. It identifies the tasks and work items which are stale. It contacts basically the person responsible for delivering them, and through the conversational AI, it helps them to find out the reason why they are stuck, and to provide them solution how to continue, and how to finish the task in most affordable way. So currently we are finishing the implementation of this agent, and we are planning to deploy it early in 2026, or basically at the end of this year, and then go through the validation phase internally within next few months.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds really exciting. That's clearly a potentially really useful tool. Here's a few more slides which we can share afterwards as well. So yeah, and LangOptima, of course, we're all about helping companies grow at different stages of their maturity. So we can help with marketing and content strategy, but also then the workflows that come with content and context, and as well as translation workflows. We do implement Blackbird IO, for instance, and we do need some development team work in that regard as well. So that's also one reason why I was very, very interested to speak to Jan and about his capabilities personally, but also as a company, because and we're also engaged with preparing data for AI through knowledge graphs. So that's a very powerful tool, which we'll also talk about that more next week, by the way. So if you'd like to join us for the webinar next week, that is all about knowledge graphs and how we leverage that for knowledge graph mediated translation. So in other words, we improve machine translation with knowledge graphs, and then we now can also offer end-to-end software development because of Insta, because we are partnering and excited to work with each other for various customers who have different needs at different times. So we like to have a range of various products and services for that reason. But I think what's interesting also is to ask Jan about AI, because it's such a big topic. And so I was just wondering, what do you think of AI for coding at this stage?
So, of course, AI is quite impressive, and basically these last and more complicated models. So, frankly speaking, we already started to using ourselves for certain tasks. My impression is that it helps people who understands how to use it. But of course, as with any tool, if it is used incorrectly, then it can do also some harm. We have seen it, some outages from major companies like Cloudflare, or I don't know, other things where something was generated by AI, it wasn't properly checked by the humans, and therefore it messed things up. And we have seen this also in our experience, that few of our customers basically generated themselves something or asked somebody to do it, and we helped them to finish it and to correct the things, because it was used by a person who doesn't have the experience with, I don't know, theoretic informatics in theory and theory of informatics about the different structures, algorithms, etc. So we needed to find what was the problematic and fix it, which is okay, but we go with that you need to be very pragmatic about it and very safe when it comes to production system, etc., etc. So on the other hand, to be also like on the positive note, now I was more on the cautious note. It helps the programmers to be more efficient what they do, but you need to as well use it correctly. Don't forget about the test, don't forget about the code quality, and don't forget about the requirements, which are basically not usually well set in the documentation, but you need to provide it correct context, you need to provide it the correct decisions, and you need to oversee it. So as any tool, it's good tool, but you need to correctly use it.
Yeah, so clearly there's a level of parallelism here with language, because this is also what I've been speaking about at all the speeches that I've been given this year, about about the opportunities that are present, that were also already present for natural language with neural machine translation, but now with large language models, you have a lot of opportunities to also give it provided with more context and be more accurate. However, as the language industry, of course, preaches and advocates, there is a very strong level of guidance and direction and leadership that needs to be provided to the large language model, but also the workflow and the guardrails that needs to be put in place for it to be deployable, especially at critical moments. So the industry talks a lot about tiering content, like highly critical language such as marketing language is not something that you want to just go ahead and translate with a machine, because who knows what it spits out. And of course there's some pretty well-known examples already where people were trying to say something about maybe their grandparents, but actually it starts talking about like ancestor worship, and there's like a major gap of the meaning that sometimes is being relayed by the LLM, which is problematic if it's at a marketing level and the company is representing themselves with that language in a nation. Well, that can be really problematic and dangerous actually for the company, and even in theory illegal. There could be compliance issues with that and so on. So I think there's a lot of parallelism with natural language as well as coding.
And actually in language, I see additional dimension to it, because me personally, I see when it's somehow generated by the machine, it somehow lacks this human component, right? And it is highly dependent on the society, on the culture, on the environment you are currently in. And I would use maybe one example from maybe not technological example. So my grandfather is like famous actor, famous writer here in Slovakia, or was. And when I was on conference about his works and so on a few years ago, there were authors who tried to translate his works into different languages, for example, Polish language. And what they struggled with was that since my grandfather has his work was situated in nature and people living in nature, there were many times very niche wordings, like 26 types of grass on the hills in Slovakia, right? And how do you translate in the Polish language, which has only 5 names of the grass? So, and few authors tries to invent new words in the Polish language to accommodate these niche differences, but they failed because readers could not grasp it. On the other side, they tried to redo it that they simply flattened the language of my grandfather, but it wasn't right because you didn't have this feeling there. So it was quite a conundrum how to approach this problem. And frankly, without having all this knowledge, without having all this experience, for the machine, it would be even more problematic. So this human aspect of the language is very crucial. And now with all the marketing, all the content which is basically bombarding us, you need to be very exact what you want to say in your message and for the specific audience. So I believe this topic is far from being implementable by the AI alone. So you still need the expert, you still need people who understand these small nuances of the language.
Yeah, well, that's a beautiful statement as far as the language industry goes, because that's music in the ears of the entire industry, because that's of course what they've been preaching and saying, like there's a lot of issues. In fact, sometimes, and also for certain languages, it's significantly worse, of course. So some languages might be a bit better with machine translation, but with other languages, like especially low resources languages, the data set is just not even there in the large language model,
Yeah.
and then it's just a major failure. It just doesn't function correctly at all. So yeah, very interesting. So you do see value in localization in the age of AI, then, do you, Jan?
Yes. So it depends on the quality of the outcome you want to have. Of course, if you want to have like uh, lower level translation, it could be very well done by AI. But if you want to hit the certain spot, hit the emotions of your people, of your audience, you need somebody who knows what they are doing.
Right. Yeah. So we clearly align on this thinking. We use AI, but it's really more a catalyst for expertise. But if you don't have expertise, then that can become really quite a big trap, to say the least. Uh,
I like this message. This holds true also for the development. So you need to know what you are doing, and then it's a good tool. But as everything, it's a tool. So
yeah,
somebody
very good. Does if you have any questions at any point, feel free to ask them, and I think that would be very welcome. Um, we do have Gabriella with us as well. She before we started this meeting, she mentioned a few things also, so she could also jump in and explain what she saw in Slovak, your language, a little bit later. But we also have the of course, our partnership to talk about a bit more, because we clearly are excited to work together. There's a lot of opportunities, I think, because I think it's bi-directional, because we work in the localization industry primarily with LangOptima. We do need software development, and then vice versa. Sometimes you might be working with clients, of course, where who might need localization, and then we can assist with that also. So that there's that normal pretty like symbiotic relationship between a software house like Insta and a language house. I guess you can call it like LangOptima. So that's one area. Would you agree with that, Jan?
Yeah, definitely. And if I can add to that, is that with the AI, and since we are also working with the modeling of AI and modeling agents, uh, basically when you have a lot of data, it's kind of language itself, right? So with many techniques which are well known and functioning on the natural languages, this can be applied to the data and to pre-training for the LLMs, etc. So I see also this type of possible cooperation to somehow bring the structure to unstructured data and find commonalities, etc., etc.
Yeah, yeah, and the other opportunity is the one I mentioned already with like a Blackbird IO is a low code, no code tool, but it is low code. So sometimes there's code that's not required, but also what in my experience, sometimes clients might need let's say a portal, which Blackbird doesn't necessarily create, and but so between with the partnership with LangOptima and Insta, we can also help clients with creating these really useful tools within their company that they can utilize that combines all of the best technologies, like because we do have something like 2,000 language technologies out there in the world. I think NIMSY is good at making a radar with all of these various companies and vendors that have these language technologies. But there's still a lot of pieces that need to be put together and to create a really good system and that everybody can use across the company. Well, then that gets pretty advanced, especially at the large enterprise level. So that's why I think I'm excited about the partnership that we can really combine the powers of software development with with all the other tools that we already have available in the language industry.
Me as well.
Yeah, very good. Okay, so are there any questions and answers, hopefully, from us? Did we receive any questions, Gabriella? Not sure.
Gabriela?
Can also just we can also just have our attendees chime in. If you'd like to just jump in, that'd be fine too. I think, but I think we might have to allow you to talk, which we can do. Feel free to say something. I just gave Mark because I know Mark. I trust Mark. I could just have you come on.
Nice to meet you, Jan. I've heard a lot about this partnership, so it's nice to finally meet you in person. I did have a question actually. I put it in the chat, and my question was, from an outside perspective, what do you think the biggest challenge is for companies wanting to translate more content, and how is this partnership going to help to achieve that?
So I believe I might have this outside perspective quite well. So I look. So many times I have seen that actually customers even doesn't understand the problem itself. So they don't understand the need. So I can use additional example. One was already mentioned during presentation, that company which has outgrown their original market needs to translate their content, but so far they don't feel the urge. So we would like to be evangelists in this field, I believe, to see that opportunity and to help understand the customers that, hey guys, you have outgrown your original market and you need to be closer to your end customers in different countries. And then when they do it, they don't understand that how complex task is it. So we have worked in project which basically, okay, we don't care about text, just put it to AI to generate, to translate, whatever. So again, to show customers that, hey guys, this is not a like second class citizen. So the texts and your content needs to be well localized, well formed, and you need to be excellent also in this field, not only in like product field, but also in what type of messages are you telling your customers. Have I answered your question?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, thank you. I think this is one of the key challenges, right? Which is what you were touching on there, is around that messaging and understanding the value of what you're trying to do. I think there's not necessarily a one size fits all approach. I think there's also some good use cases where you would maybe prioritize an AI solution, but then there's also use cases where you wouldn't, right? And that's, I think, the value that you were and the messaging you were talking about.
Yeah, actually, I would use it very well reminds me the testing and QA in the IT field, right? So many times you need to have a QA on after the certain stage, but it's not one fit for all. So, for example, we are working many times with startups where we basically prototype the idea of the founder, and then it needs to be validated by the market. At first, it doesn't make sense to put that too much QA, right? Because the business idea isn't validated yet, and there are no users. But after the certain stage, we approach the customer that, hey, you already have like your own customers, you have users, you have a contract with them that you need to be in that you do the good job well. So therefore, let's introduce QA to your team. Let's work with them and let's basically increase your game. Something like this, I would say.
That makes complete sense.
Yeah, I think we touched on some of these questions. Also, what do you think about AI in the field of linguistics? We talked about that a little bit. How do you think Instea can assist companies in the field of language and localization? I think, yeah, well, for one, we have the workflows that we can work on, but I think that there are usually other developments that are necessary that are not currently in existence. So that's another area. Yeah, well, how is Instea different from other software companies? That's a good question.
Yes, I like this one. It puts a smile to my face. So I believe so we are different based on our values. So we understand that we are building a dream. We don't have a product which we can show you and hey, this is it. So we are building a dream. So the trust is like essential currency we are dealing with, and therefore we are very transparent and honest to support this trust. So transparent in the way that our customers always know what we are working on. For us, each team member actually needs to be an evangelist of their work. So they need to work directly with the customers, understand the customers, and make customers understand the technical difficulties. So because we believe the close cooperation and the discussions are very vital to find the most efficient products. So there is a saying that it's a different to do a correct product, but in a correct way. So we want to do it in both ways. So make it efficient from the building point of view, but also work on correct products, not doing something which won't be used. So, and we are very open about it. So when we find out that, hey guys, this won't work because it's too complicated or something, you will hear it from us. So we are very pragmatic, we're very open, very transparent, also like money-wise, so you know where you spent your money. And of course, we are constantly working to be top of our game. So through the communities, through the open source software, through constant education of everybody in our team, to be really on the edge of current technologies and current approaches.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that this approachability and transparency is, like what really helped align us so quickly from the first conversation, which is why, we're here today from that very first conversation. I think we already talked about the goal of our cooperation. I think maybe you can touch on if somebody's interested in Instea, what should they? How does that process work with Instea? What is kind of the onboarding process, I guess?
So to do the correct product, we need to understand what we are building, right? So for that, we are using multiple processes or multiple methodologies. One of them is if it is more like process problem, then we do the process mapping of your actual process, current processes, and which helps us to basically identify the weak spots and identify the spots where the automation could help and will bring most of the value, right? Then on the other side, what we are always doing is we are looking at the software, at the tools through the viewpoint of the end users. So many times we have found out that, and also on us actually, that we don't, that it's constant work to understand it from the viewpoint of your customer. So we focus on them, we identify who are they, why they care about you, your products, and through these viewpoints, we build the software that they are happy. Then, of course, the company serving these products is happy because they come back. So we call this like workshops and methodologies. We have a product for it, which is called Discovery Phase. And after this is identified, of course, we many times support it with the prototypes, with the Figma wireframes, with information architecture, etc., etc. And then fairly soon we are able to find out what needs to be done and the highest priority. So we like to bring as much value as possible at the beginning, because then it can be right away used. So many times we have seen, for example, with this Firefish, it was in the way that they need to do quite complex contract between two sides over the internet, supported by technology, but the legal as well. So in first 2 months, we were able to help them to sign the first contracts in the technology way. Maybe it wasn't fully over the internet, but they were able to do it. So it was fairly fast. In next 2 weeks, they were able to do it in more automatic ways. And in 3 weeks, 3 additional weeks, it was fully automated. So we wanted for them to be able to, as soon as possible, validate the idea and then see if the people will actually using it. Because many times, and in software industry, it's very common, companies spend hundreds of thousands of euros, of dollars, and then nobody uses the system. We want to avoid this.
Yeah, well, that's very good. So hopefully that was clear enough. But I think that we will be talking still in the future about this topic quite a bit and publicly, and we'll also share this video. You know, a lot of the audience that will see this video in particular will probably be from the language industry. So LangOptima, you know, can be your point of contact, and we can put you in contact with the appropriate folks at Insta, and then we can work together to see you know, what software needs you might have, and then you know, and Insta can help deliver those wonderful solutions as you've already seen in some of the use cases. So thank you, Jan. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Gabriela, and Mark as well for his input. And we will see you next time.
Exactly. Thank you very much. See you around.